Well, good evening to you guys. It is good to see you, and it is good to be seen by you. How are you doing this evening? I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic Thursday. I know I am. Guys, we crossed over the boundary into 4,000 subs on the YouTube channel, and I thought, well, that's enough to celebrate. Like 33 more of you people have decided to check out the channel. And I am humbled and honored and so thankful that you have decided to spend your time hanging out with me here on the channel. And of course, you know, it's always a lot of fun. So thank you all very much. And who am I, by the way? I, of course, am the Dungeon Delver, aka Bill Sylvie. And I just want to say, just to remind you kind folks, that this show is brought to you by our friends at Hellbard Games. That's right. Hellbard Games makes the types of adventure modules they want to play. Whether it's for 5th edition, OSR, Castles and Crusades, Old School is in play at the table, and you can check them out at hellabardgames.com, or you can find them on DriveThruRPG under the Hellabard Games name. And we love those guys over at Hellabard Games. So tonight, you might notice the first thing that's a little unusual is I'm standing up. I'm not sitting down. This is not going to be a thing, I can assure you. But on the table right here on the table, I have a full spread of nothing less than the thinnest hand-painted Space Hulk miniatures, both Gene Stealers and Terminators, and a fiendishly clever scenario map set out for your entertainment. So that is what is happening tonight. We are going to do a Space Hulk demo of the first mission in the 2nd edition Space Hulk rulebook called Kamikaze Mission. It's not called Kamikaze Mission, but I can't say the name of it, and self-unalive would get a little tedious after a while because of, you know, YouTube. So that's that. And let me tell you, before we get into it, if you are new to the channel, you've been blown here by the winds of YouTube weirdness, you saw something that said Space Hulk, I'd like to look at that 40K mess that they've got going on. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications, and if you like the video, click the like button too. So, yeah, we're going to just jump straight into Space Hulk. We're not going to do a preamble ramble tonight just because I don't want to stand up for 3 hours. So we'll cut over to it. Now, most of the time, I will be explaining the rules to you guys from back over here. I'm trying to watch the live stream as it rolls by on the monitors. So if you have a specific question for me about the rules, or if you super chat and I miss it, I super apologize. I will try not to. I will try to keep my eyes down here. Hello, Wookie. Good to see you. Kenneth, greetings. Collecting Chaos, Damien, Fuchsia Cone, Robert Phillips, and anybody I might have missed up above. So let me give you guys a little bit of personal history about Space Hulk, and then I will kind of explain what the game is. When I met a very dear friend of mine, Rob Wilkes, hope you're doing well, Rob, he ran a comics and games shop in my neighborhood, and this was around 1989. Warhammer 40K hadn't quite exploded yet. Rogue Trader had just hit, right? You know, the Beaky Marines and just one hardback book and army lists in White Dwarf magazine. This was the time when 2nd edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons had just come out. Okay, we're talking about a minute or two ago. Well, Games Workshop firmly believed in the rule of cool, not the, ignore the rules because I'm a poor DM kind of rule of cool that seems to hold sway today, but the rule of cool in that they put out a ton of very cool games. And unto that era, they released a board game that I immediately fell in love with and that I stupidly didn't buy, called Space Hulk. Now, Space Hulk does have to do with outer space, but it doesn't have anything to do with the Incredible Hulk. No. Space Hulk takes the conceit of Warhammer 40K, guys in powered armor fighting aliens, and brings it down into what is essentially a dungeon crawl board game. Now, I distinctly remember, and unfortunately, I don't have a first edition Space Hulk set. I sincerely wish I did. I have the rule book and scenario book for first edition Space Hulk, and I don't know where I got them from, okay? But the box clearly said, exciting science fiction role play. It's not a role-playing game, guys. It's not a role-playing game at all. I'm going to be talking a lot tonight, so I'll be a little on the parched side. L'chaim. But anyway, so unto Space Hulk, my attention was drawn, particularly with the Gene Stealer and Deathwing expansions. Now, I've talked Deathwing lore on the show before and how cool I think the Deathwing lore is. But the general game itself was awesome. Well, I didn't buy it because it was expensive. It was like $24.99 or something like that back in 1989. Well, I always remembered it very fondly. And then for Christmas of, I want to say it was 1998, my dear wife purchased for me the second edition of Space Hulk, which is this bad boy right here, which is what we will be playing tonight. A battle to the death in the chilling depths of space. So she got this for me. I have had this for years. I finally got around to painting the miniatures. Now, Games Workshop threw a lot of support into Space Hulk when it first came out in '89. Then it kind of faded away, and they didn't really sell it anymore. And then they released second edition Space Hulk, which was very cool. But they didn't support it much at all. There were like 2 magazine articles that reintroduced a couple of elements from first edition Space Hulk. Well, third edition Space Hulk came out in 2009, and I was all over it. Now, this was a limited run item. I think I paid a little over what Games Workshop charged for it MSRP, because Games Workshop wanted $100 for it when third edition first came out. I think I paid $120 for it. I had a bit of a windfall in 2011, so I said I'm gonna get myself one. Third edition's rules are they revert back to first edition Space Hulk, and they're a little bit more complex. They're a little bit more involved. And for a demo to show you guys how cool this is, I thought we would stick to the simplicity of second edition. And then if you guys really like it and this video gets a lot of likes, a lot of thumbs up, a lot of super chat, a lot of support, we'll do this, but with the third edition rules and have some fun. And then finally in 2014, after third edition disappeared for a number of years, in 2014 or 2015, they released fourth edition, which was almost identical to third edition, but brought in even more elements from first edition. And then Games Workshop just completely deleted the game from their catalog entirely. And like all things Game Workshop, they just go, huh? Space what? We didn't, huh? We never had that. We don't know what you're talking about. So Unfortunately, what that means is, like so many other games and RPG supplements that I have shown you guys, this is kind of unobtainium. But if you fall in love with it tonight, if you poke around the web, you can find the rules. If you poke around eBay, you can find the miniatures for cheap. Or if you know someone with a 3D printer, they can provide you with the miniatures. Then it is down to a simple matter of fabricating your own counters. Or if you have, just a ton of money to blow and you see a first, second, third, or fourth edition set or first with the supplements, you can just spend $500 on eBay and get your own. But anyway, DM James says, Blood Angels for the win. I am a Deathwing guy, so my Terminators are painted up as Deathwing. But the Blood Angels are pretty awesome. So let me explain the premise a bit more. A Space Hulk is an agglutination of planetesimals, space stations, ships lost in the space warp for millennia that have all kind of slowly clumped together, frozen together. Some collided and were welded together from the impact. Some have been crushed to near unrecognizability. Some are tantalizingly almost completely intact. The warp drive engines of these ships occasionally flicker to life and propel them out of the warp into real space. When the Imperial Navy detects them and they scan them, if they find that they're close to a populated world, they represent a navigational and existential threat to everyone within a cubic light year. So they will dispatch kill teams, sweep and clear teams of Terminator Space Marines to board the Space Hulks, search out any lost technology, any artifacts from previous Space Marine chapters, any clues as to what caused the ships that vanished in the warp and eventually got fused into the Space Hulk itself to get lost in the warp in the first place, and potentially even rescue survivors. There's a little golden or silver lining to your grimdark. And then before the warp engines can click back off or click back on and propel the ship into the warp again to be lost for a year, a week, 1,000 years, 5,000 years, forever, they have to get off. Sometimes the artifacts, ruins, cargo that are on the Hulk are deemed so important that everything not certifiably 100% uncorrupted human has to be purged from the Hulk. A war for the Hulk has to be waged. So the Adeptus Mechanicus can land and they can start taking this thing apart to try and recover pieces of ancient technology, standard construction templates, they call them. And so, onto this, the Terminator squads are the pathfinders to attack the ships. Now, you might think, okay, well, they land on the ships. They fight enemies. Not just any enemies, because for some reason, Space Hulks seem to attract the dreadful gene stealers, the shock troops for the Tyranids. And if one of those Space Hulks pops into real space near an important Imperial planet, the gene stealer hive mind is smart enough to start launching escape pods full of infected humans or just straight full of gene stealers at that world. So to gain control of those things and prevent this happening, again, teams of Terminators are deployed onto the ships. Expert at close quarters fighting with armor that is even heavier than normal Space Marine armor. They are just what their name says. So, now that you've got the premise, let's get into the fundamentals of the game. And I'm just going to pause here. I'm going to look to see if you guys have got any questions. Oh, I'm sorry, Keg Crusher. I wish you could be with us. Lux says, I'm glad there's an explanation for why they don't just blow it up. Yeah, I mean, I would dare say in Warhammer, there are probably more cases of where they see one, they send a naval detachment and just bombard the thing with cyclone torpedoes until it's literally torn into chunks no bigger than my fist. And then those are blasted with melt-a-guns until it's just cold ash in space. However, there are some that require close-up study. So what does a Space Hulk show up to smash? Planets with humans living on them. Now, you might be wondering, why not just send larger numbers of normal Marines rather than risk Terminator proficient Marines dying? And the reason is rule of cool, but the more lore intense reason is that the heavier Terminator suits were originally basically boiler suits designed for working in active warp reactors. The Emperor designed them, and then he said, you know what? If those things can resist warp energies, let's give those guys heavy bolters and make soldiers out of them too. So there's that. Prometheus says, Space Hulk, strongest one there is in space. Yes. But anyway, I saw one of you in the chat that I haven't seen before. Vincent asks, is this a war game? Yes, it is a war game. DM James plays OSR Blood Angels. Oh, that. Okay, I caught that. Asking the important questions, inquiring minds want to know, I want to know. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into this. Now, the simplified rules of 2nd edition are excellent for an elegant let's play. And because I'm not constricted by time on the back half, if I do end up needing to sit down, I can sit down and I can answer your questions and what have you. Now, occasionally I'll have to step away. You guys are going to be seeing the table here in just a minute. I'll have to step away, but most of the time I will be using this improvised pointer. I got all happy. I bought batteries for my laser pointer. It doesn't show up on camera at all. It does not show up at all. If I turned off all the lights, the studio lights and everything, you might see a faint red dot. So the laser pointer doesn't work. So I've got this, which is my back scratcher. But it's a long pointy thing, and I can point at things out on the table. But sometimes I will have to move around out of camera shot, but you'll still see me in the camera that I've got pointing at the table. So let's go ahead then, and let's get started. Find the studio view. There we go. And, oh, my goodness. Have I got... Sorry about that, guys. Studio view 2 should be not that. It should be that. There we go. I don't know why that one is there. Hang on a second. There we go. All right. Let me get that a little bit bigger so you guys can see that a little bit better. How about that? Or was it? There we go. That's better. Okay. All right. So I will explain the elements of what you guys see as we jump into this. Okay, so this is the starting area right here for the Terminators. This is basically their boarding pod. It's a semi-truck sized ramming vehicle that smashes into the side of a Hulk, bores its way in, and then the Marines jump out. These circles those are blips. Now, every Terminator Marine, if you think of the movie Aliens, where they had the motion sensors, has a motion sensor built into his armor. Those points off the map are spawn points where the Gene Stealers can rush in. This particular scenario starts with 2 blips at each spawn point. Each blip represents a number of Gene Stealers between 0. Yes, a blip can be a malfunction of the scanner. But each blip represents between 0 and 6 Gene Stealers. Now, until a Marine has clear line of sight to a blip, it is nothing more than a ghost on his heads-up display. The Gene Stealer player, I am both Marines and Gene Stealers, can move the blips around without revealing how many Gene Stealers are there. I, the Gene Stealer player, know how many Gene Stealers each blip represents. Now, you might ask me, Bill, when the Gene Stealers that those blips represent are killed, is that it? And the answer is no. Our enemies know no number. Every round, I get reinforcements at these spawn points. I get a number of blips at those spawn points that I can move into the Hulk. There are millions, potentially billions of Gene Stealers. There are 5 Space Marines. So, let's go ahead and get started. I will tell you guys the scenario. Here is a chamber that has been identified as having the controlling computer for this particular part of the Hulk. And unless that computer is destroyed, the escape pods on this Space Hulk will be launched at a nearby inhabited world. The Marines cannot let that happen. To prevent that, the difference between 0 Gene Stealers and 6 Gene Stealers is significant. Yes, it is. To prevent that happening, the Marines have to move from here through the Hulk to here and fire their heavy flamer into that room, destroying the control computers. Now, this is a one-way mission. This is a kamikaze mission. It is not necessary for the Marines to fall back to their escape pod. Some scenarios require that the Marines survive. But as long as the flamethrower-equipped Terminator Marine who is here gets within range and fires his flamer and hits every square in that room, which he can do with a single pull of the trigger, the command computer is destroyed, the drop pods don't launch, the nearby planet is saved. With that said, let's get to it. Now, the Marines go first in 2nd edition rules. There is no initiative rule. Marines go first. Each Marine has 4 movement points. The grace of the Emperor provides us with a random number of command points every round. which is tracked on this card. So we will open up by rolling a d6 to see how many command points we get. The Emperor is not feeling it today, so we start with 2. We move our command point tracker to 2, and we hold those until we might need them. Our first Marine advances 1, opens a door, that's 2. 3, 4 into the middle of the room. Now, this resplendent looking Marine here with a banner on his back is our unit sergeant. He has a power sword, which I will explain the use of at the appropriate time. And he moves forward 1, 2, 3. He turns 1 to the left, 4. And because I want him to move forward, I will expend a command point 5. Here is our flamethrower Marine. If he is slain, this mission ends unsuccessfully for the Marines, regardless of how many Marines are left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, ostensibly, if I was playing a human opponent, that human opponent would know that the death of this Marine is vital. Since I am playing solo, I am going to play the Gene Stealers as clever, but not hyper intelligent. So I will not purposefully seek to kill that Marine, ignoring all others. And I hope you guys are enjoying this. We got blips. Flip the egg timer. Emery calling back to the old one. Okay. The next Marine. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I am going to turn this Marine and spend my last command point. And I now have no command points. So, let us start moving blips. Now, I do have an entire stack of blips. After these blips are converted and the Gene Stealers die or whatever, I have an entire stack of blips that are shuffled like a deck of cards for me to draw reinforcements from. I don't know what these are in advance, but I can look at them to decide where to deploy them. I just don't know until they've been used up. So let's get moving. Now, each blip has 6 action points, which incidentally is the same number of action points that a Gene Stealer has. Gene Stealer movement rates are different from Marine movement rates. They only pay a point to turn 180 degrees. Okay, so as you can see, aware of their presence, the Gene Stealers have been set in motion. Now, we get into some interesting next level parts of the rules here. First things first, we're going to roll for command points. The Emperor's really slacking off today. We only get one. But hey, sometimes that one command point can be all you need. One. Opens the door is 2. Now, I am going to set this Marine on what is called Overwatch, not the video game. Although I should have thrown that in the hashtags. Anyway, Overwatch is a means by which a Terminator locks his fire control computer built into his armor, into his gun, into his motion sensor. All his Stormbolter does, or all he does rather, is hold down the trigger and cycle the Stormbolter. That's it. His computer, his eyes, and the Stormbolter do all the rest of the work. He basically becomes a living turret. The disadvantage is his Stormbolter can jam, firing at such a high volume. It requires 2 command points to go on to Overwatch. And I put a special marker next to that Marine that indicates he's on Overwatch. I'm going to move this door over here so I won't forget that. Okay, so he is now in place. Sarge is going to turn. That's 1, 2, 3. And turn again is 4. One, 2. He turned left, I promise. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's going to spend that last command point to turn back around. 5. One, 2, 3. Opens the door is 4. 1, 2, 3. Now, this is a very dangerous time. We are bunched up, seriously. So things could go off the rails really quickly here. Now, you might notice straight down the hall, that Marine can now see a blip. This, if it is in range, forces the blip to reveal. The blip is automatically revealed. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The blip is more than 12 squares away. The Gene Stealer need not reveal. Once he moves into under 12 or less, which is right here, he will have to reveal. But if I wanted to keep the number of Gene Stealers secret, I could simply have them move back and go around, but I'm not going to do that. I remember playing this game. What someone mentioned in the chat, random map layouts. My friend Toby Stidham and I, we used to love this game in '89. We used to do blind draws of pieces to create a very chaotic map and just have massive shootouts. Oh, something else merits mentioning here. In the unlikely chance that all the blip counters, or rather that all the miniatures are in play at the same time, and blip counters get revealed, those are sensor malfunctions. Only 20 gene stealers can be on the table at the same time regardless. So let's go ahead and start moving. And I'm sure you guys, are you ready to see the gene stealer miniatures in play? Rip and tear, huh? Now I turn that counter over and I don't think you guys can see it, but that represents 3 gene stealers. So I put this gene stealer counter back over here, and you can now see there are 3 gene stealers. So I moved 1, 2 with the blip. Now that accounts for all the movement of the gene stealers as well. So the gene stealers are revealed right then, right there. And the blip behind those gene stealers cannot move. Well, I mean, I can move it forward 1, but also it cannot be seen by the Marines. The line of sight of that group of gene stealers blocks the Marines' view of what that blip might be. So it's still showing up as a blip on his sensors. Now, I hope you guys are ready for some action because it's about to happen. Door opens, blip reveal. 1 gene stealer. A gene stealer appears. Now, remember that this loyal Marine is on Overwatch. A gene stealer has appeared to him. He may immediately fire his Stormbolter. Any hit that I roll indicates that the gene stealer is slain. Normally, it requires any kind of double hits. But I also have to roll the jam dice, which has 1 face that represents the broken lightning bolt. I don't know if you guys can see that there. But this will tell me whether or not my bolter jams. It does not. And the Marine still cannot see the other 3 blips in that area. So things are starting to get a little hectic now. Things are starting to get a little scary. I'm loving the aliens quotes in here, guys. Why don't you put her in charge? All right, let's. I think that's all the Gene Stealer movement. That's all the blip movement. That's all the Marine movement. Quoth Vasquez, let's rock. Another 1. That is terrible. Now, this Marine automatically comes off Overwatch from the previous round. Overwatch automatically ends. You have to spend action points. However, this brave Marine will just go right back on Overwatch. He's not moving. One, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2. So the Marines are now set. We have 1 fellow in front on Overwatch to receive this horrible attack. We have this fellow over here on our right. On our right, prepared to defend that flank. And here come the Gene Stealers. A word before I begin moving the Gene Stealers. Every square the Gene Stealers move, every movement the Gene Stealers make is tracked by the smart weaponry built into the Terminator suit. So what that means is, regardless of how many action points I have, when those Gene Stealers are on the move, that Terminator gets a shot at them. And in case you're wondering, no, there is no limit to the ammo that the Terminators have, except for the flamer. All right, and that is a hit. That Gene Stealer is dead. And we did not suffer a bolter jam either, which is nice. One. Again, moving into line of sight. Okay, so we have a hit. That Gene Stealer is killed, and by dint of being killed, the Gene Stealers behind him are revealed. But there's bad news. We rolled a jam. Now, I'm not sure how clear that is for you guys, but you might note that the two Gene Stealer models here are facing the wrong way. And the reason for that is because I, the Space Marine player, forced the Gene Stealers to reveal they are facing, it forces them to be facing in a way that is favorable to me. They will have to spend one action point each to turn around to start heading the right way. All right, let's get back to it. The Gene Stealer turns and comes scrambling down the corridor over the corpses of his fallen fellow. Now, you might notice again that the Marine did not fire in this instance, and the reason is his bolter's jammed. In the next round, he's going to be frantically trying to clear that jam and bring that bolter back to bear. So we indicate that he has a yellow jam counter next to him now. Somebody want to throw some Hudson quotes in there? Talk to me, Hudson. Over here, we're about to have a close encounter of a worst kind. 1. That is a miss. 2. The Emperor is just not with us today. I am the Viking in Led Zeppelin's Immigrant Song. Nice. Thank you. Thank you, Umbrel. All right, got him. This force reveals a blip. Three Gene Stealers. And as it force reveals, I will face them away from me. Ah, thank you, Umbrel. That's what I'm looking for. So this Gene Stealer turns around, and the Marine will attempt to shoot him in his stupid face. No. 2 rather. And that is a hit. Gene Stealer go bye-bye. This gene stealer will turn around. And our redoubtable meme will shoot him. Are there any expansions that have aliens like facehuggers? No, that is a completely different property. And while I should point out that Games Workshop will willfully and gleefully steal other people's IP, they're not quite that bold. Basically, Gene Stealer is the atmosphere processor part of Aliens in the 40K universe, but they're not so bold. There is an Aliens board game. I don't remember who makes it. There's one that came out like 40 years ago from Leading Edge Games when the movie came out, or thereabouts. Maybe it came out a little later. But no, there are no facehuggers or anything like that. There are expansions that include what are called Gene Stealer hybrids, which are humans that have been infected with the Gene Stealer, gene, and they can actually wield weapons. It's a little beyond the scope of this simple demo. That's a miss. 2. That is a hit and a jam. So his bolter 2 is jammed. The faith of these Marines is being tested. One, two, three, four, five, 6. And in case you're sitting out there wondering, watching this on your phone, your PC, your laptop, your tablet, your TV, just listening in, what happens when a Gene Stealer gets toe-to-toe with a Marine? Well, we may be about to find out. So I'll move some more blips now. So now we're in the next round. Labyrinth is an excellent Aliens comic, by the way. How many wipes so far? Only popped a few Gene Stealers. No deaths, no total party kills. Now we really need the Emperor's intervention. Oh, and by the way, we are on turn 3. I haven't been moving the turn track. This game is not time limited, so I hadn't been keeping up with that. But we are on turn 3 for those of you playing along at home. Oh, that is terrible. 1 command point. Can you believe it? All right. He is going to clear his jam. That's 1, 2, and go back on Overwatch. 3, 4. Before the squad can advance, this sudden rush of Gene Stealers has to be cleared. So that is once again cleared jam, went back on Overwatch. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not even going to bother moving the other Marines or expending the command point. We will just concede and hope for the best. Hello, Laura. And here we go. One. Once again, a jam. 1 and reveal. This fellow over here is in a lot of trouble. Potentially. Yes, I am rolling 2 dice for sustained fire, Michael. Okay, that is a hit. Force reveals 1 Gene Stealer. Lucky Marine. Lucky Marine. So that is 1. As the Gene Stealer whips around. Oh no, that's not good at all. That is a miss and a jam. So he is now jammed. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong for the Marines in this scenario. 2, 3, 4. The Gene Stealer can make 1 close quarter attack on the Marine. Now, Gene Stealer claws are hard enough to rip through, well, at the very least, puncture through thinner vital parts of the adamant armor. Eye sockets, that sort of thing. Joints, and so on. The bog standard Terminator Marine fights with a single D6. The Gene Stealer fights with 3 D6 and takes the best die. If the Terminator player who rolls a single die has a higher die than any of these dice, he wins. He manages to slam his power fist into the thing's face and crush its brain. So we're about to find out. 1, 2, and 5. By the Emperor, he needs a 6. Let's see. I'm not kidding you guys. I got a 6. I got a 6. We rolled a 6. By the Emperor, were we ever lucky? I'd like to imagine his bolter jammed, and he just brought it down on the skull of that. This force reveals this blip, and it is, again, 1 Gene Stealer. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me double check something real quick. I have to look at the movement point cost. Close combat for a Gene Stealer is 1 movement point. How lucky will our Marine be? Yes, Space Crusade was a bit more advanced than Space Hulk. And it came out first. Space Crusade was was basically the 40K version to Warhammer Fantasy's Hero Quest. Took me a minute to remember it there. So if you think of Hero Quest as Warhammer Fantasy roleplay in a board game, then Space Crusade is Warhammer 40K in a dungeon crawl board game. Gene Stealers are xenomorphs. That is correct, Laura. Oh, okay. So it may not go as well for us this time. I rolled a 2, a 5, and a 6. The best I can hope for is to roll a 6 and tie the Gene Stealer. Otherwise, the Marine goes down. Now, if you're not playing the horrible grimdark version, the Marine is critically injured and he is warp teleported away by the apothecaries who pull him out of his armor. His armor is taken away to be prepared, but he's out of the fight regardless. If you're playing grimdark, the Gene Stealer just basically swims through him, but we're about to find out. No, it was a 2. This Marine is now out of action. We will put him off to the side. There are now 5 Marines remaining. Over here, we have Gene Stealers to move. Yes, the Gene Stealers kiss. They have a... The Gene Stealers are basically... they don't work like... Well, it depends on what variants they're talking about, but per the way the lore used to be, Gene Stealer shows up, grabs you, you wake up a few hours later feeling a little nauseous and very, very randy. Like you want to make babies. So you find someone, your wife, that girl in the tavern, and you go off and you start a family. Baby is born, baby is ugly. Baby might have a third arm. Baby might have a head that's a little too big. Or is born with bony claws. They are a hybrid. However, Gene Stealer's got a plan. That baby has a psychic link that makes mommy and daddy super duper protective. Also, mommy is now infected with the Gene Stealer, or with the Tyrannid gene also. So she is super protective too. And it just continues on like that. Until an entire planet is converted, then the Tyrannids show up and strip every living thing off of it, including the Gene Stealers. There are some variants of Gene Stealer that just go full alien facehugger. They grab you, you get the aforementioned Gene Stealer kiss, and a couple hours later, a bloody mess just pops out of you. All right. One, two, three. A 4, a 5, and a 5. I need a 5 just to parry him off, and a 6 to defeat him. I got a 6 again. A 2, a 4, and a 4. My chances of winning are slightly better. The movie It's Alive is what... Yeah, you know, I could definitely see the guys at Games Workshop drawing from that. I rolled a 5 by the Emperor. One, two, three, 4. It's grim in here. Now, you guys tell me, because we don't exactly have the great crowds that we had in the past. Are you guys digging this? Is this thrilling everyone, as I hope it is? Because I'm here for you guys. Again, a 2, a 4, and a 4. And another 5. You know, I'd like to imagine that these guys are singing like a tribal death song as all this is going down, because the Deathwing are, of course, their origin back in the dim mists of history in like Millennium 1.8 is Lakota Sioux. All right, here we go. Michael Connor putting in a word for the orc. Song of the Deer Hunter, yes. All right. I don't know what is with these dice tonight. That is another 2, 4, and 4. I swear I'm actually clattering them and rolling them. Dungeon Delver, the tribal song of Prima Victoria. Yeah. Little bit of Sabaton thrown in there. Man, can you imagine Sabaton lyrics sung in the Sioux language? I don't know if that would be amazing or awful. Tuvan throat singing. I think the Tuvan throat singing, I think, is probably, I don't know, Blood Angels, maybe? All right, here we go. Greetings, Danny. Ha! It is a tie. Now, that Gene Stealer spent 5 movement points or 5 action points to come down the hall to me. This Marine shoved him back, slapped his claws out of the way. So there is still a fight to be fought there. Now, you might think that our friend, the flamethrower guy, is dead meat and this mission is over. Not so. Observe, my friends. Firstly, it is now a new turn. Let us bring in reinforcements, which I actually should have done a turn ago. So reinforcements for this mission, for Gene Stealers, no reinforcements for the Space Marines. Gene Stealer players receive 1 reinforcement blip per turn. So I'm going to use a D6 to pick where the gene stealers come in. And we're going to start over here. Where's my pointer? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to roll a d6 to see which area the gene stealers get that reinforcement. So they're coming in fairly closely. All right. So there's our reinforcement. Now, in the name of the Emperor, Ben McSwain, lurking for a while again. Hope up. Ben, everything is great. Thank you. Laura, I bet you could find it out on YouTube. I have found the rarest stuff out on YouTube. Or was it something you recorded at a tribal event or something? Praise the Emperor. 5 command points. Okay. Clears his jam. And he will shoot immediately. Now, I do not have to roll jam, but I do have to roll 2 hits of any combination of hits. Nope. Let me look at the action point cost. I'm sorry, clearing a jam is 1 action point. So that's 2 action points he's spent so far. Got him! 2 solid hits. So I will spend the next, so that was clearing the jam is 1, fighting is 2, fighting is 3. He has 1 action point left. I will spend an action point and put him back on Overwatch. He is again on Overwatch. In the name of the Emperor. Yes, these are Stormbolter, Michael. By the way, technologically, if you guys want to know what a Stormbolter is, if you are familiar with, and you can Google this, you can look it up on YouTube, we actually have a device in real life that is called the Mark 19 automatic grenade launcher. Picture one of those being carried by a guy wearing something the size of a Volkswagen Beetle around him. It's double-barreled, it's computer-assisted, and every round can punch through about a foot of today's armor plate. And each round is smart. It can airburst, it can go under doors, that sort of thing. That's not really modeled in Space Hulk. Actually, it's not really modeled in 40K, but per the fluff, that's what it is. But it is it's a round about this big around, about that long, and this thing fires like 1,000 a minute or something. Okay, so he's back on Overwatch. So you might think, and you would be forgiven for this, you might think that it's all over for our flamethrower-equipped Marine here. But not so. You see, I have 12 shots with the flamethrower and 1 reload. This means that I can use some of my flame juice in combat, and I'm about to do that. So, I'm going to turn 1, firing the heavy flamer requires 2. And I am going to fire 3 shots. I'm going to fire 3 shots of flamer juice. The space that the Gene Stealer is standing in will get 1. The spot directly in front of the Gene Stealer will get 2. Now, what this means is I have set the hex or the square in front of the Gene Stealer on extra fire, and the square that he's in also on fire. So he is hit with the flamer. How do we determine whether or not he takes damage? Let's look at the flamethrower. So how you guys doing? You enjoying you enjoying the stream, watching the Marines and the aliens fight? Let's see here. Heavy flamers, 23. Heavy flamers in the wine. Okay, I've stacked flame markers. And to save versus the flamer attack, let's see. It must roll a 6 on a d6. It does not. It chars and dies. So Gene Stealers save against Heavy Flamer on d6. So at the end of this round, the first Heavy Flamer counter and the second Heavy Flamer counter that he laid down in front of him will burn out, but there will still be a third Heavy Flamer counter in front of him. Let's go. Gene Stealer turn. I'm keeping that blip there. 1. Actually, you know what? No, I've already committed to this course of action. I had all those lovely command points and I didn't spend them. Oh well. Oh, the Gene Stealer is toast. Now, I actually rolled 2 solid hits with that blast. Had there been a Gene Stealer behind him, there would have been overkill damage. In fact, let me look that up. It says adjacent models that the Terminator can see, I think. But let me double check. We might have gotten the Gene Stealer up the hall. Overkill Fire, page 21. Another target adjacent, so we don't get overkill, unfortunately. And of course, that force reveals this blip, which is 0. A 0 blip. The Emperor has tested their faith, and they have been found worthy. Worthy enough to contest with 6 Gene Stealers. You know, I need to check something. There might not be enough room to reveal 6 Gene Stealers right there. Hey, Lord Corion, thank you very much. Thank you for the super, Lord Corion. I really appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that a lot. Let's check that Gene Stealer reveal. Blip. Converting blips. Blips revealed by fire, 29. A Jort Stealer, and you're going to super chat a Jort Stealer. This Marine may be very lucky. Well, the Emperor's blessing continues, folks, because guess what? The only places where there can be 6 adjacent Gene Stealers, or where Gene Stealers can be adjacent to the reveal blip, are here and here. The rest of them are occupied or unavailable. So, only 3 appear. The Gene Stealer converts, the blip converts, the Gene Stealer appears. Wolf Grind, good evening to you. Welcome, welcome. We'll see you around, Danny. What happens? No hit and a jam. One, 2, converts. 3, 4. The numbers know no end, brothers. Be strong, brother Brodo. Thank you for the super. Thank you very much, Brodo. Thank you for the super. Okay. Gene Stealer has rushed up. He has one attack. Well, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. He can make 2 melee attacks. A 2, a 3, and a 2. Oh, there's a good chance he could win here. It is a tie. Gene Stealer lashes out again. It is a tie. The Gene Stealer, the pride of the Marines. He stands fast. We'll see you, Tonka. Okay. Okay, I think that just about finishes it for the Gene Stealers, except okay, that concludes the round. Gene Stealers get a reinforcement blip. And I'll tell you what, if you would like to pick 1 through 6, which point I reinforce with the Gene Stealers, throw me a super chat. Throw me a super chat. And I am going to go ahead and dice for command points. 3 command points, not bad, not terrible. And this is turn 5. Anyone at all? Anyone want that? Waiting on you guys. Oh, I should move my window up here. There we go. That's better. Oh, no, there's just 6 possible positions for me to bring in a reinforcement blip, and I was offering choice to audience on Super Chat. You don't have to, guys. I can dice for it. It's all good. 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I was just teasing, guys. I was just teasing. Michael rolled a 4. Michael Connor rolled a 4. Hallelujah. All right. He comes off Overwatch. He goes right back on Overwatch. He's got a Gene Stealer to fight. Let's see where this is going to go, guys. Now, typically, you might draw the conclusion that the Marines are very poor at CQC. Give you something good. Okay. Doomsword gets the next pick, so I guess I'll drop this one. I don't know. I'll try and bring it in to cut off the Marines. Oh, that is not good. That is not good. That's a 6, and a 4. I need a minimum of a 6 here. Ah. Not to be. Well, you know what? I'm going to retcon that because Doomsword's super chat and say that Sarge here went on to Overwatch. Corporal is deceased. Sarge is on Overwatch. The Gene Stealer has expended a point. Moves forward. Now, the Sergeant is armed with a power sword. A power sword is basically a holy sword for Space Marines. He gains a +1 in melee. Had that been Sarge, he would have tied and been able to parry away the attack. Now, Sarge, with his power sword, rather than counterattacking, may elect to parry. And to parry, he basically dismisses the highest die that the Gene Stealer has before he rolls his own, if I am remembering that correctly. Good night, Umbral. Thank you for sticking around. Space Marine Sergeants, 17. Okay, I can actually do that after we roll the dice. I can choose to parry after we roll the dice. So here we go. I add +1 to my die, and I can dismiss the highest Gene Stealer die. So if the Gene Stealer rolls a 4, a 3, and a 3, and I roll a 3, I can dismiss the 4 from the Gene Stealer's die pool, and because I'm adding +1, win. I dismiss a 6. I also rolled a 6, which becomes a 7. I shear the Gene Stealer in half from its face to its legs. Now, as I recall, being meleeed in close quarter takes me off of Overwatch, so that is removed. However, one, two. Another attack. Here we go, boys and girls. It sounds fascinating, book. Book of Prometheus. Book of Prometheum. Oh dear. I can dismiss the highest die, which is a 6, but even adding +1, Sarge falls. One. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Moving forward is 6. It's not looking good for the tribe, boys and girls. It's not looking good for the tribe. He's chain sorting angels in heaven now. That's right, Corion. He's chain sorting angels in heaven. You know what? I don't think it's going to matter. So I'll voluntarily reveal that blip. That is 1 gene stealer. And let's see. I'll move him into the fire. 3 gene stealers, which unfortunately only lets me reveal 2. Because of the aforementioned rule. So now the gene stealer rolls its saving throw and makes it. Oh my gosh, the gene stealer makes his saving throw. I think this is the end, guys. I think this is the end. Good night, cowbell. Yes, I do believe it's the end, my friend. Well, it's a new round. Let's roll those command points. Well, that's 4. He's going to set to Overwatch. And he's going to use all 4 of his points and the rest of the command points to pour fire into these hexes. For those of you playing along at home, it is the 6th turn. Yep, the Marines never made it down the corridor. I think we definitely got shafted by the poor command point rolls. But let me tell you something. Let me just lay this on you guys. I have seen this same scenario play out with 2 Marines remaining, and they finish the mission. The dice just go their way. So we're not giving up. We are not giving up. Okay, so we're going to roll for those gene stealers first. Scorches and dies. Scorches and dies. Let's do Gene Stealer reinforcement. I forgot to do that. And this Marine right here is going to fire his bolter 8 times. The Emperor protects. Okay. Excuse me. He can fire 6 times because he went on Overwatch. In the name of the Emperor, cleanse, purge, kill. Hope you guys liked that. Well, I already spent the action points to set him on Overwatch. So I'm going off. If I'm a treasure, is that why I look like I've just been dug up? But that's a miss. That's 1 action point. That's a miss. That's 2 action points. That is a hit. And I got to check to see if that is overkill on the model behind. Oh, and by the way, John David, I have now worked directly for Heidi Gygax. Not just Gary, but Heidi also. That's 2. Oh, and this is turn 7. All right, so let's check that overkill rule. Let's check that overkill rule. Overkill, overkill. Overkill fire, page 21. Scores a hit with both dice. Guess what, Mr. Gene Stealer? You just got perforated. Auto reveals. 3. I still have 2 more shots left. I could still get sustained fire bonus on these big booty bitches. So you guys save your laments, at least for till the end of this round. So that was miss, miss, hit, and overkill. So no, I got 3 more shots. That is a miss. 2 more shots. That is a hit. Well, let me double check that. 21. Well, I'm getting sustained fire, so Okay, so that is a miss. That was 3. Or no, that was 4. 5, that's a hit. Guys, I'm not going to say we're winning here, but I am going to say it's looking a lot better than it was a few minutes ago. And he's going to fire on the remaining one with his 6th shot. And boy, howdy, wouldn't it be hilarious if I got overkill here. In the words of the Terran guardswoman Vasquez, let's rock. And you guys can't see it, but that is a hit. Got another blip reveal. So that is 2. Okay, let's start moving some gene stealers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, 2, 3, or rather 1, 2, 3. Unfortunately, now this gene stealer gets 3 melee attacks on our loyal brother there. But this day we have seen bravery unheard of. We have seen puissance skill at melee from these Deathwing Terminators singing their Lakota death song. I got a cocked die there. Oh, yes. A 1, and a 4. A 1, and a 4 for the Gene Stealer, and a 5 for our Terminator. Turns around. 1, 2, 3. Three melee attacks coming. Oh, a bunch of cocked dice. Roll these up here. Alas. Alas. He is no more. I think it ends here, brothers. So that was 4, 5. Now a side melee attack. A side melee attack. Okay. If he's attacked and doesn't die, he is able to turn to face the attacker freely. It's not looking good, guys. It's not looking good. Their numbers, no end. I got a fistful of 4s, guys. I got a 50-50 chance here. I got a 6. He turns to face. He's on his own now. Now I have 7 more shots with a flamer before I am effectively no longer able to wield it as a combat weapon. It's looking grim, guys, but we'll see. New round. Oh, housekeeping. The Gene Stealers get a reinforcement blip. I'm going to bring this guy in over here. Let us see if the Emperor blesses us. We don't need the jam die anymore. Lord Corion says, praise the Emperor, purge the Xeno. Ready your weapons, brothers. We descend upon them with fire. The Emperor blesses us with 3 command points. Flame him. I cannot see the Gene Stealer all the way in the back, but I can drop fire on this one. This Gene Stealer must make a saving throw. He does not. The Xenos is purged, but for the moment. Okay. One, two, three, 4, 5. Does not survive. The holy fires of the Emperor purge the unclean Xenos. Wait. Okay, end of round. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 4 shots. I have 4 shots left with a flamethrower. to try and fight my way to the room. Okay, he's got line of sight. It's a new round. Let's roll command points. 3 again. I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to drop fire. Rain fire from the sky. Greetings, Dungeon Minister. Pray for them, Dungeon Minister. Truly, with a blessing of the Ecclesiarchy on this Space Hulk, we will be victorious over the Xenos. Piesu Domine. Imperator Requiem. The Gene Stealer chars and dies. Here we go. Let's see, that was move forward 1, 2, fire the flamer 3, 4, 5. And that's all he's gonna. That's all he's gonna risk firing now. I have 3 shots with a flamer left. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reveals 3. So that Gene Stealer moved into the wall of Promethium to try and stop the human. So I like you guys that have hung out. You're getting into it, right? Laura's like, let's send them all to hell. It's awesome. I'm loving it. He does not save. Chars and dies. 1, 2. Failed his save. And chars and dies. So the Gene Stealers literally charged into a wall of boiling, burning Promethium and all fried and died. Okay. Just there. 1, 2, 3. And it is end of round. Gene stealers are the locusts of space, Vinny. You see, cockroaches will at least seek to establish an equilibrium. They will eat the refuse, the garbage. Locusts want everything. All right. Housekeeping time. I have 3 shots left in the flamer. The wall of flames goes away, and that reveals 1 gene stealer. I was here. One gene stealer. Oh, I almost forgot. And we are on turn 8. Let's roll command points. A 6 wouldn't suck right here. Padre, I think they require the Emperor's Peace. That's a 6. This lone Marine now has 10 action points. One. Fire a flamer burst. That's 1, 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He has 1 spare shot in his flamer. 1 single spare shot. He is within striking distance of the control room. Now, reloading the heavy flamer will require 4 command points. He will need at least 7 command points if he makes it to the door. Open the door, reload the flamer, fire the flamer, assuming he makes it. I've already decided where the Gene Stealer is going to go. So the Gene Stealer has 2 saving throws to make. By the way, if anybody wants to buy me a lavalier mic, so the next time I do this for 3rd edition Space Hulk, you can actually hear me when I'm across the room, feel free. That you guys don't have to give me your money. It's nice when you do. You don't have to. A 3. He chars and dies. One, 2, 3, 4. Well, again, I had already decided where I was going to move these Gene Stealers, so So 2 gene stealers are now on fire. Rolling saving throw for this one. Does not make it. Rolling a saving throw for this one. Does not make it. Again, I had already decided on a course of action for them. Does not make it. It's going to be damn close. Let's roll to see where the blip appears. This will make all the difference. Emperor, protect me. The Xenos, they are close. My brothers have fallen. I must complete this holy task. Brothers, those of you who have gone beyond and stand before the Emperor, be with me now. It is turn 10. And yeah, Lux, that is exactly it. They're going to the last place they saw the Marines. Five command points. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8. Opens the door is 9. Yes, I shall reach out to the tech priests for a lavalier mic. Oh, Fuchsia, we're almost there. We're almost there, but I understand. He slams his button. He slams the button on the wall. The ancient mechanism grinds back as he says a prayer to the Omniscience, who inhabits and guides all machines not already under the control of an abominable intellect. And he sees the glowing computer panels beyond. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. This is it, guys. This is it. If I get a 3, at least a 3, on command points, I can reload the flamer and fire it into that chamber. Otherwise, I will have to use points to turn around, drop my last flamer marker from this tank, and hope that the Xenos all die right there. This is it. Let us roll a d6. That's a 4. 4 command points. Pulling the tank off, slapping the new one in place, opening the valve, adjusting the flow rates. And with that, a holy conflagration of blessed promethium There it is, guys. There it is. The control center is destroyed. The pods cannot drop. Now, does anyone want to see if he can make it back to the drop pod? Does anyone want to see if he can make it back to the drop pod? So long as it's not Captain Dan. One Mad Apple says salt the earth. All right. So he's acted. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. I will convert him. Guys, it is 1 gene stealer. I have 3 shots left. I have 3 flamer tokens left. Command points. 5 command points. I have 9 actions. Oh, and I forgot my reinforcements. But where will the reinforcements appear? Number 6. One, 2. I fire my flamer. Now, getting out of here is going to be kind of tricky because I did just have to drop fire in front of me. Oh, no. Oh, no. The gene stealer saved. Okay. I got 1 flamer shot after that. So that was 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gene Stealer turn. Gene Stealer's on fire. Gene Stealer does not save. Gene Stealer crisps and dies. I don't know about making it out of here, guys. All right, end of round. Here comes the reinforcements. Oh, man. One charge left with a flamer. Let's see how we do. 6 command points. I might get out of here, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That Gene Stealer's in hot pursuit, boys. Marines, we are leaving. Marine, we are leaving. We're on turn 13, by the way, guys. And thank you, everyone, for sticking it out with me this evening. Here we go. 8 command points. Not great, not terrible. Oh, and we got to see where the next blip comes in, too. If it's over here, I think our goose is kind of cooked. If it's up here, we're okay. It's over here. Okay, so I rolled 4 command points. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's roll for another blip, because if it appears at 1 or 2, we are all the way with no dinner afterwards. We are all the way with no dinner afterwards, guys. Unless I just get great command points. And remember, this is not part of the mission. Getting back to the drop pod is not part of the mission. Five command points, guys. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Door is closed. Pod is out of there. We did it. We survived, and that's not even a mission condition. We won when we incinerated the control room. Every other Marine fell. Every other Marine fell, and the one guy who had no close quarter bonus and a ranged weapon that was not all that great, made it off. He made it off the Space Hulk, and that is Space Hulk, guys. I really, really highly encourage you to check it out. If you can find a set online, you might be able to find a PDF of the rules. I don't know. Allegedly, Games Workshop has a game out now called Kill Team, where you can simulate a Space Hulk mission with it. But that is entirely up to you as to whether or not you want to give money to Games Workshop. I want to thank everyone for the supers tonight. That was really awesome. Let me do some stuff here. Come over here. There we go. Tomorrow night, we'll have some preamble ramble. And then at 9 o'clock, we are going to be playing Classic Gamma World. That's right. It's the return of Bogo Jorts. It is the return of, I almost said Turgo. It is the return of 4077. It is the return of Mr. Rab. It is the return of Do Re Mi. And maybe somebody else. But we'll have to see. You'll have to tune in. You'll have to find out. I'm not just going to give it away. So again, guys, let me say a big thank you to everyone who watched the stream tonight. And I hope you enjoyed the Let's Play of Space Hulk. You know, I mean, some streamers will Let's Play the latest video game. I Let's Played Space Hulk. So, yeah. And of course, there's more content videos coming too. I know I said I would do Tabletop Triumphs today. I'm sorry. Every time I say I'm going to do it, they don't happen. So maybe one will happen tomorrow. But I will see you guys tomorrow with more videos, more content, more stuff coming from me. Peace, everyone. Take care. Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.